built one for Texas, and it can go to all the counties in Texas. I started there with Harris, obviously Houston, Tarrant, and Dallas. People can add to it, but I'm going to do Northern California later this week and get it out to you to toast it first before we just to try and I'm going to try to start with those counties you gave me,
Okay.
so I can start seeing if we can. This way, if we have something that's really a narrow focus, it's just an app, and then it's kind of cool that people can actually cool. And I'll tell people how to some of these apps, and I'll tell everybody that's on. When you guys see me like talk about some of the apps, like they're on Netlify, any of you can get like a Netlify account. It's at netlify.com, and I can help you set it up and how you do it. There's also GitHub. You can use GitHub; it's free, but you can probably everybody should just be able to get by with the free account. If you expand too quickly, man, the $6 a month account, or it's like I think it's like $9 a month, is pretty good there. But most people should only need the free version. So some of these apps I can give you like once it's ready, I just give it to you and you go in there and I'll do one-on-one with you and you can load it up. So a lot of people want the like if people are in Texas, they want the Texas app and stuff. The reason I'm doing those is they're more specific, and they're more narrow rather than having to go build an app. We have the ones, obviously, the RCIC Highway. And so while everybody's coming on tonight, I'll kind of just reiterate because I think I didn't get it on the recording. So tonight we're going to be going through RCIC Core on the GPT, and I'm in developer mode. You guys know that because, I have the orange outline on my prompt bar, which you guys don't have. So sometimes I feel because I can wait, I know someone, I think Rod just signed on because I know he talked about like wanting to see the prompts. So tomorrow night, and I know if people can't make it, I'm just we'll have the recording made, of course. But what tomorrow night is I'm going to hook up the because I got a different laptop that's more like it's what I bought. I got a refurb in October, and I've been working on it. Tomorrow night I'm going to be kind of like just like you guys. I'm in case because I think a lot of people. I want to show people get to the point where they have where I get reporting back where people get stuck and I have to troubleshoot, and it's pretty easy to overcome. But I want to show everybody tomorrow night, like from their perspective, like you guys know, like so it's a lot clearer, especially buy box markets and all that stuff. So I'll actually be putting those prompts in and stuff like that live, and that'll be and so it'll mirror kind of like all of you see on your systems without having to necessarily because I think sometimes with mine, I can work my way through things a lot faster. And then I know James just logged on. So James, we're gonna expand on that. What I just said, what we're gonna do with my laptop, and tomorrow night, using mine and my personal account, I'm actually gonna to use it to find an off-market property to start the skip tracing process. We'll do that on the on my own personal laptop and personal GPT, which I have set up before as as it has RSIC, it has the core and all that stuff on there. But I'm going to take it that way. You guys can actually see me try to work on that from your kind of more on your perspective rather than mine, where I can jump around a lot quicker and stuff. That should help everybody kind of see a different perspective on it. So, and then, like I said, like I was telling Bill, guys, there's a couple states that have some pretty different, just the way things go, because like Texas is non-reporting. There's some other states. So I'm creating a couple of apps. I did one for Texas. I'm going to do one for Northern California and get one to Bill out. We'll do one in Southern California, Illinois. I believe Florida's interesting too because it's wide open as Florida is in some areas. Some areas like Tampa and Orlando tend to be a little bit more restrictive, a little bit more harder to get information on. So we'll be building these apps, and the best part is that the apps can be when I build them, I can build one in like an hour, and then I'll give it to you guys to beta test it to see how it works in your area. As far as just developing leads and AHJ stuff and all that. So that's kind of what we're going to do tomorrow night. And then, like I said, I'll give everybody kind of an update, real quick. We're on the recording. So let me go ahead and bring up so tonight I know people want to see functional. So tomorrow night we're going to be a little bit more functional. I'm not going to be doing like pretty much like a lot of this, what we're going to be going through, like you guys normally see me do. So I'll be a little bit more functional as far as you guys. Like I said, I won't have all the access to everything that I normally have. Um, Another thing I want to mention to you guys really quick, while I'm doing it, you guys probably see me doing it right now. Um, yeah, if you guys see if you guys go up here to Chat GPT, 5.5 is coming out. You guys see that at the top. So you guys check probably sometime between now and Sunday. If you guys just want to check it, it'll automatically come to you in the middle of the night. You'll probably wake up to it in 5.5. So just want to give you guys a heads up because that's an open AI thing. They've been talking about 5.5 for a couple of weeks now. So that's kind of cool. All right, so guys, we're going to talk tonight again about the buy box like we did last week, mainly because buy box and markets, because I want to get everybody kind of set up on how to set your buy box up, how to set your markets up, the tools you need, comps, market related assessment, ARV, using tools to reduce bad assumptions and speed up decision making. So, like I said, tomorrow night I'm not going to be doing it like where you guys see me just with text on the screen. We're actually going to be doing the processes like I said, from my other laptop and my personal GPT account. So it'll be kind of a different look for you guys because I'm going to probably hit some of the same things I got to set up live that you guys have to. So it should help you tomorrow night because I'm going to do a couple things tonight as well. So what we want to talk about, guys, is that we talk about market guides. So a market guide, I think some of you have sent them to, and if anybody wants one, or wants me to help you, I can actually help you guys build one. I have some examples, like I have 10 or 12. I have one for Cuyahoga County in Ohio, Cleveland. I have one for Texas, like Tarrant, Harris, and Dallas counties. We have a few of these. We have one for Northern California. I did make one for like Wayne County, Michigan. I know there's other counties up there like Genesee and what's that other where that sheriff has that task force that has that TV show. It's kind of like Chris Hansen. Trying to remember what the county that is. So we got all this, so we got these market guides, right? And I made them. And if you guys want them, I can send one over to you, and you can actually just enter it into the into your prompt bar and go, hey, here's this market guide. Can you duplicate this, but for this county, state, and if you want specific zip codes, and the market guides will actually go through its. It actually gives you the map and the framework of the local AHJs, your counties, So it's kind of cool. So it's the front door summary of the market. So you guys will have the primary market, the core operator box, your primary strategy fit. I hate sometimes you guys are some Claude keeps trying to tell me, hey, you got to do Claude. So it's basically going to tell you it's your map of your AHJs. So it's your county clerks, your probate courts, any agency there that actually deals with foreclosures, evictions, probate tax foreclosures, tax sales, surplus, and overbid. So these market guides are pretty cool. I think one was like 8 pages that it generated, which is kind of cool in PDF. So when you guys get one, or if you want to generate your own, but if you want one from me, then you just like I said, when you guys are into your setting up your projects, and like we said, we set up projects like you guys know that you have your buy box. I have a skip tracing project, ARV valuation, rehab scope of work, deal analysis tools, and buy box. When you guys are setting this up, you set one for markets up, you will enter that PDF for those markets, and basically establish the markets with your buy box, helping you kind of it's going to help you guide. It's going to help the RCIC the GPT find what you're looking for. Go out there, find your foreclosures, find your evictions. It's kind of cool that way. So it's got your AHJ map, your routing layer. It's going to show you each channel, where the venue, the sale lane. It helps you with how to search the file. It's telling the GPT that how to search the file, operator use cases, and official links, like we call the off ramps. Like here's the one that I made for Texas. And anybody wants this afterwards, I can send you that as an example. So that way you can see what one looks like. Like I said, if you want me to make one for you, just give me to start out like no more than like 3 counties. Because what I'll do is I'll generally try to make 1 county for you. And then if you want zip codes, you can put a couple zip codes because you guys can just enter it. Like I said, you can have it make another one, duplicate it. You can make them anywhere you want. And then the cool thing is like when you guys are doing your buy boxes and stuff, you guys can enter those as your markets. So that way it helps you because you guys are going right to the source. And I'm going to show you something cool tonight that I worked out a little bit for skip tracing. But I'm going to show you how you guys get everything straight from the county, the AHJ, the county clerks and all that, the probate courts, and the information is right there. What a lot of the companies like the deal machines, prop streams, and all them, they buy all their data from aggregators. So an aggregator may get that data at the same time you can now. For right now, like Jefferson County, Colorado, where I live, they release their foreclosure list, their NEDs, their notice of election demands every Thursday, literally just minutes after they open at 8 o'clock in the morning. So by 8:30, I can actually go and get the Jefferson County NED for the previous week. And there may be, I think last week there was 13 foreclosure filings. Well, the aggregators get them too, but guess what? It takes a couple of weeks probably to sort through all that information, divide it up, and send it out to their paying customers. So in the meantime, you have access to all that information like the minute it becomes public. And the other thing is we'll show tonight a little bit, I'll talk about skip tracing. The information a lot of times you guys want for skip tracing is right there in plain sight. A lot of people don't know that. People have been surprised when I've told them that. Like I said, I didn't know you could get information like that. It's like there's a lot of good information you can get right. Literally, you do that search at 8:05 in Jefferson County. 8:10, you can make a return to Jefferson County's website and pull that up information that you need. That normally people are charging money for skip tracing, so now you got direct access to it. And so we get into the AHJ maps and the auctions, and then you guys get into data sources. So it's just you get into the clerks, the record systems, appraisal districts, tax offices, all that, the sale pages. Same as it becomes the lead channels. So you guys will see this in this operator report that I kind of will send you guys if you want to see it. It's all local intelligence and then contacts. So it's kind of cool. So, for you to give you kind of a definite answer, definition, a market guide has 8 core components: market identification, AHJ map, auctions, data sources, lead channels, local intelligence, contacts, and operator strategy. You don't have to worry about covering all that. I'll just send you the PDF that we've already generated, or I'll make one for you upon request, and then basically you can actually just read through it and see how it's set up. It's just a simple PDF that I generate. Then you guys go in and just like I said, you enter it, and you have RCIC. At the same time you do, where you do your buy box, you have it build your markets, and it's going to give you more precise market saturation. You're going to be able to do a deep dive into, and it's a lot quicker, a lot more because it has all the off ramps. These market guys will show the off ramps. You guys know those are like, here, this is an off ramp. When I click on Texas Operator Market Guides, anytime you can click on something, that's the terminology I came up with, like an interstate highway. Think about off ramps and on ramps. So you guys can off ramp to these markets, and you'll be able to go in there, and it may show you 40 or 50 different stops. I'll show you guys the report I got last Thursday. I get 10 reports a week, and I get 4 on Thursday, and they're pretty, and I got them on Monday as well, 3 on Monday, 3 on Saturday. So it's kind of cool. So it's kind of like your operator playbook for one market. It should tell you what market you're in, what sub-markets matter, which AHJs control each distress lane, and the way the data lives, and what lead channels to work, and what are the local realities that can kill a deal, who the key offices are, and what the actual strategy is. So it's kind of cool about how to do this. So like I said, guys, it's not just finding a number. It's basically using the correct county authority to pull operational breadcrumbs that reveal who controls the property, what phase of distress it is in, and where the next usable lead signal lives. The market guide is built exactly for that. It maps the lane, the AHJ, how to search it, the operator use case. So you're not freelancing, guys, if you use an operator. If you either create your own or have me create one. So what I would do is I would go ahead and set up, just like we set up those projects, I might set up a new project for markets, and I might put a market guide. I'll put in market guides. And you know what I'll do right now under that project is who on here needs a market guide? Anybody want to name it? Give me a
I'll
county.
take one.
Give me 1 second to finish typing this and then give it to me. Can you create a market guide? Sorry. A market guide that based similar to the one I add as a reference for what county?
Do Atlanta. I don't know what county that is.
Fulton, or what are you looking at, like Fulton County or Gwinnett or
Just Atlanta. Like here, I can look it up.
Atlanta? Well, okay, because it usually is better for
It's Fulton.
yeah.
Okay, Fulton. Sig. I see
We'll
it.
just try Fulton because then if you're one of the counties, you can always just do what I'm doing and just have it duplicate it.
Thank you, Kevin.
You're welcome.
Somebody one, and let me go and make sure because I pulled one up. Let's see if I pull. I should be able to get one. I'm gonna go and just pull. I'm just gonna use the reference of Cuyahoga because I just or actually do one. Actually, let's just go ahead and do these. Yeah. So just set up. That's what guys want to do is set up a market guides project, and basically, like I said, it's making the Fulton County, Georgia, and it's making a matching word guide with the AHJ mapping included. And then I'm going to save it as a PDF and I'll send it over to you guys, over to you, James. And yeah, this is how easy it is to do it. So then take, these market guides and yeah, they are in the files tab in RCIC's Facebook group as well. So obviously there's some differences, guys. Here's a key thing I just found. The difference in Georgia versus Texas. Fulton foreclosure notices are legal Oregon newspaper driven, not county clerk posting driven. So I'm building that distinction to the guys so the workflow does not import Texas assumptions. So that's important to notice a difference. We do have an operator who actually is working in both Florida and Texas. And if you are working in different states like that, you probably want to separate the two. Don't do your searches across state lines. It's not that it can't be done, but guys, if you it's just not as efficient. If you guys separate like you're doing Florida, then you're doing separate, deploy different agents, deploy your agents different, so that way you don't confuse. Because sometimes it just bogs it down a little bit. You're not going to get as good results even with AI if you are kind of like that's another reason like people if you're doing more national stuff you still want to kind of break it down to more localized to develop the intelligence. It's just a little bit extra work when you're starting out.
So
But
can you do it
yeah,
by state, or you want us doing it by county?
we prefer you can, but I set this all up mostly to be by counties and then sometimes zip codes in the counties. Counties and zip codes. The reason is that most of this information is at counties, unless you're like like I'm in Colorado, Denver, obviously is city and county. It's still a county, so most of the stuff is county based, county clerks,
So
county probate courts. Probate courts are a lot of times are county probate courts, In some states, like in Colorado, this entire state, I can reference any probate court or evictions and stuff by just going to the Colorado Judicial Branch, which runs all, it's the Colorado Supreme Court. Some states are different. That's another reason we do these market guides. So not only you can learn it, but you are training your system to operate in the counties you want. Every county, every state could be different. You could have one state could have a set of rules, but they could give home rule to some counties where some counties may be different. And so these
Okay.
market guides are really trying to help you separate and kind of identify the key differences, in one county over the other.
Yeah, so once we do this, say we repeat this five,
Yeah, then
six
you can just
times.
do it like that.
Let yeah.
Yeah,
And then so it learns the process. Then can we kind of take a shortcut? To
yeah,
say for Florida, just be like, hey, repeat this process for every county in Florida. Can we
yeah.
just do
You can do
that?
that, and then you can go
Okay,
you can
got
go
it.
to statewide. As long as it's not like some counties like, and I'm guessing because Bill's on, I'm going to be building one for him in Northern California. That Northern California and Southern California tend to be a little bit different for some reason.
Okay.
Whereas obviously bigger, some states are like that. You'll have the state maybe something like I said, but you can go to Orlando and Tampa is close to each other. They're both completely different environments. And I've learned that because we have a couple of people now in Florida where I've done these for. So I'll send this over. I'll make that also post in the group for anybody else that wants it. So here's the differences. Obviously, use the Texas guide as a structural reference, but map Florida's AHJs around Georgia specific lanes, the way its foreclosure notices are, the magistrate to, probate court, sheriff, tax sales, excess tax funds. It could be all different, which it is. So I generated that, but that's what you guys want to really have for your market guides. Like I said, I got Fulton County. So you can set up one market guide and then just repeat it down. Because once you have the market guide and you have it set up as like your first, you have it set up as your first market like this, there's Fulton County. Well, the next market guide could be new in this new chat. It could be now you want to do one for, whatever the next county is. And you can eventually build these down. And the best part is if you've got an original market guide as your reference, and you've got that already into the intelligence. So that is your shortcut that you just asked about. You just have a market guides project. And just, basically because you can end up having 10 or 15 counties eventually, or states. You could have a Florida, you could generate a Florida. You could generate just remember that you get larger states and multiple larger cities. There could be some differences, but it's going to tell you that in that process, you're going to see it on the screen. And that's how you guys want to, that's your shortcut on market guides. And market guides should be built at the same time as buy box.
Okay.
So, because they all work together. Your market guide and your buy box is really what's separating everything, because that's going to give you exactly what you're looking for. That's when it takes 84 filings like there were in El Paso County, Colorado, which is Colorado Springs, in November. Well, you don't have time to manually look through 84 process. If it goes up against your buy box, it may get it down to a dozen, and you get it down to your deal analysis tools, your skip trace, and you get down to 4 or 5 properties. You're getting better, and you can generate intelligence rather than just having to quickly manually look at anything. It's a much better process, much more efficient. Especially people in here that are doing more longer lists, things like that, national, maybe they're a wholesaler nationally. It's a little bit harder. I started generating before I went this way to RCIC in August, September. I was in June, July, and August last year. I was working on trying to get 6,513 zip codes because the top 50 markets are there 6,513 zip codes totally in those 50 markets. Obviously, not every zip code you want, because in my state, there's some counties in Colorado. You guys look at the map that are like the what, it's not just the population is from Fort Collins to Pueblo. If you guys look at the map, everything else is kind of you don't need to look at Jackson County, Colorado, or there's some counties I can't even pronounce, and I've lived here my whole life. But yeah, so you guys want to kind of be aware of that. So that's literally on market guides. Let me get back to this one. And then I'm going to show you. We're going to go through buy box one more time. I just want to finish a little bit. So you guys want to get into the market guides is really important, guys. I mean, that's really good. Like I said, I can help you guys build one, or you guys can just go into Files tab, grab one, and just rinse and repeat. Set up a Market Guides project. Feed in that first one. It could be Cuyahoga. It could be, Tarrant, Dallas, and Houston. If you guys need some guidance like yours is judicial foreclosure or non-judicial, let me know and I'll point you in the direction of one. But I'll just send you over one and just like I just did it, rinse and repeat. Can you duplicate this Cuyahoga, market guide, except for make it, some I don't know, Cook County, Illinois. Although I'm sure Cook County's. I did actually look at Cook County in Chicago, and it's not. You guys can imagine Chicago's not a very friendly place either to be doing business. So that's kind of it in market guides, guys. You're building lead channels, and this is all your lead channels and everything. So we're getting to skip tracing really quick. So we're getting to skip tracing and like I said, you got to skip tracing. Everything you guys want to do is a project. So I got a skip tracing one. I got ARV evaluation. I got rehab and scope of work. Deal analysis tools going gets into your comps, pulling out your initial. That's going to be right after buy box and your market guides. As really as you're going to want to start putting them in your flow. You go, it's like going downward, even though it may be out of place. Like you can move these around. There's a way to do it. I haven't done it yet. But yeah, you guys want to try to have them all together so you guys can just, flow. As you're training it, now keep in mind, as you're training it, it's becoming predictive, it's compounding. You're gonna be able to start doing a lot of stuff from your prompt bar. So probably the first 30, 45, 60 days, you'll be training it using the sidebar, all the projects. But eventually it's gonna get a lot easier, a lot flow. You'll have your shortcuts. You'll have muscle memory and where everything is. So your next thing, like I said, is your skip tracing. So in years 8, we're starting with AHJ-based skip tracing. So it's a lot different. You're not just finding a number. You start out by finding, the county authority. The operational breadcrumbs is what you're looking for. Who controls the property, what phase of distress it's in, and where the next usable lead signal is. Why, guys? You guys have seen me pull these NEDs, the notice of election demand, the notice of defaults, any of the paperwork that a county would have, a tax assessor would have, a county clerk, a probate clerk. They have that information, and a lot of times because they have to mail it to the person or the people, the homeowners, or who's being foreclosed on, or they have to have it delivered by a process server or the sheriff. In many counties, they can also use the sheriff. Well, that information is just like when they serve a summons or a warrant or something like that. The information is going to be recorded. It's in documents. So it's going to tell them where to go, who to call. It's going to usually have the email address. It's going to have the phone numbers. It could have employers. Guys, that information is a lot more readily available than most people think. Why? Because most of these companies out there selling, they're out there selling lists. They're out there selling leads. They want to also sell skip tracing. I'm just telling you right now, go to AHJ, start your skip tracing there, because that's where they're mostly going to have it. Another place to look at AHJs and authority having jurisdiction is it may not be, the county clerk or probate, maybe, or the public trustee may be in charge of the foreclosure. But also think about 5 minutes after you go to that AHJ and you get your information you're looking for, go back to that same county, probably on their same website, and go to their building department, their building inspector, whoever issues building permits. What if that current homeowner had a building permit pulled? The contractor is going to have put their contact information on the permit paperwork, because the
also kind of verifies your DNA reports, your collateral DNA reports, by getting this information. It's one way you can verify the information on the DNA reports are accurate. Because a lot of this goes into collateral DNA reports, but this is almost live as you're getting it. There are no lists or none of that stupid crap here. It's straight out of the machine, and you can do it every day, once a day in the evening, or whenever you want to do it.
Yeah, it's pretty. I mean, that's the first place to go look, and then, we found one in I think it was Colorado Springs, one in El Paso County, where they got foreclosed on, but they had moved to Oregon. And their address, we were like, well, they have an address in Oregon listed. Guess what? When you look at the address in Oregon, they just bought a property. They got foreclosed on in Colorado. They bought a property in Oregon. So I don't know how that exactly transpired, but maybe the credit report didn't come up with the foreclosure at the time. So we were able to determine the property, how to contact them in Oregon. Now, obviously, we're doing a test.
Yeah,
It wasn't a real deal.
Skip wasn't going to pick that one up either. That's the fun part about this. It does it in ways that you really wouldn't think about, but that's why it's so good, because it does all the thinking without all the, stickiness that goes with it from human beings as far as emotions goes, and it comes out the whole different ballgame. It looks at it differently than what we do, and that's what's so good about this. And if you get these three particular deals done the way he's talking about doing it, you're pretty much set for life, because that's the basis for all the real estate transactions that are out here. Just these three or four elements.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, and I learned a lot of this stuff. Even skip tracing when I first started doing private money brokering, because I'd be like trying to help the people, because I looked at ways to get better clients and to give my clients more than just what I was trained on by when I took the 40-hour class from Lee Arnold back in 2017. So I learned a lot more about the processes and stuff. And I'm just thinking, if I had AI back then, who knows?
I think about 2 years before you did, and I had a meeting with the guy. He met with the city people. The stuff that he had was pretty intense back then, and this is kind of puts that to shame in a lot of ways.
So, guys, in your AHJ, what we call the AHJ skip tracing process, start with the distress lane, not the person. If the lead comes from foreclosure, go to the county clerk or a trustee sale posting lane first. If it came from eviction, you go to the correct, precinct. If it came from probate, go to probate court. They're going to have the information a lot of times that, like I said, these list sellers and these people, these prop tech companies, they don't want you to have that information. There's a lot of information they leave out that you guys now have direct access to. Like I said, that list tomorrow morning on Thursday morning, Jefferson County, Colorado. I mean, I'll give everybody the information, even if you're not in Jefferson County. Again, by 8:15 in the morning, you could have the actual fresh information right out of my county, and you could actually have all the information you need and want is right there in plain sight. So if you start there, it's going to save you a lot of time and hassle on skip tracing. Now, we do have the skip tracing war room prompt. We do have the skip tracing, which we'll go over tomorrow night a little bit. We'll kind of real quick say it one more time. Starting next week on Wednesday, we'll be covering core, which is the GPT, and we'll be covering RCIC. Basically, the systems is what I built that I was giving you guys the access keys to. We'll basically go over that next week, and there is a skip tracing part of that on that highway. If you guys have opened that yet or looked at it, you'll see skip tracing there, and I'll explain.
You might want to give yourself about an hour and a half from what people have been telling me to do that, because there's just so many different avenues, and then you start comparing notes that no doubt all of you've been taking during this whole process. And then you start to see how really, really crazy this thing is going to be. But you can't say enough about these 3 or 4 hard pieces that basically in the RCIC that's just absolutely outstanding on their own without everything else going in with it. It's crazy.
Give me like a few more minutes on this skip tracing stuff, and I will actually try so I can bring up I'll try to bring it up on there so you guys can see the highway and some of the things I did there. Like I said, tomorrow night I'm gonna have the personal GPT and the personal my other laptop up, so I'll be actually able to I'll be doing stuff with you guys. And James, like you were asking last week, we'll pull up an off-market property and go through the entire process. But I'll be doing it like I'm one of you guys, like I'm at, I don't have all the tools that I have here. And then, like I said, I know Rod asked about prompts, so tomorrow night again we'll be putting in prompts. I'll be working from the same projects that I've recommended you guys setting up. So you guys don't see it because obviously I got a lot of things I can hit to move my way around. I want to show you guys, like I said, to keep in mind why I got the orange outline is that I'm in developer mode. So there's a lot more, things I can do in here with developer mode. That comes with that business account, which is like Teams. If you guys see in the accounts, it's a little bit more money. It's $25. It was $30 per user. Now we got a discount, $25 per user per month. So I'm paying $50 for that. instead of you guys paying 20. And that way it gives me all the business tools, a lot more memory. There's a lot more, stuff, features and stuff you guys probably won't ever need. But if you ever get business partners where you all need to be in the same, work in the same space, have a personal account as well. So you have your GPT, you guys can download as many times as you want. If you got 3 partners, you guys can just use this. There's no way even in the nose, but go ahead and feel free to download. If you have 3 people, all 3 of you can have it. RCIC.
You can fully have 3, 4, 10 people that have this program can syndicate a deal unlike anybody's ever seen before.
Yeah.
If you get several, because what he's talking about is if we had several of us get together on a syndicated deal or put together a syndicated deal and we all used this system, what would that be like? What would it come up with? Just think about that for a little bit and let that sink in. And then you're going to understand the power of this crazy thing. Not to mention there won't be anything really getting in your way as far as what you need to get the job done, because it'll find it all. That's the scary part about this whole thing. And every one of you is going to see and experience this thing live within the next probably 30 days. And you'll be absolutely astonished at what you get done with it.
That's pretty incredible. So guys, here, let me finish this up and then I'll show you guys the RCIC systems. So you guys want to go into, like I said, the AHJ lane. Look at the distress signal. Look at that before you look at the person, because that information is going to more than likely, the information that's going to help you skip trace that is going to be right there in plain sight. And you're looking for the deed chain, the current owner, the cause number or the case number, the precinct, the tax account, the parcel record, and the sale posting, the details. In your Tarrant County, obviously, the guide says to pull the foreclosure notice from the official record search, confirm the deed of trust chain, and current owner before sale. It talks about if it's a tax sale, what it is, if it's exceed proceeds. So here's what intelligence can be hiding in plain sight with the AHJs. With county clerk and official records, you can confirm current vesting, alternate owner names, mailing addresses, deed history, lien activity, trustee sale timing, and whether the property is in a clean title lane or a headache lane. Guess what? You can actually now do a lot of your pre-title information. Obviously, you're still going to have a title company because lenders and all that require it, but you can also set up
with your $200 charge that you get from a title company right there. If you can do that, you don't even have to go through all that. It does some really bizarre stuff as far as money is concerned right up front that you're not used to seeing, and that's one of them. Because it's as good as a title search. That's what these title companies are using nowadays, is that same setup. So things are changing rapidly. They didn't used to be able to do that.
You get the courts, you get occupancy pressure, landlord distress, filing patterns. I mean, it's amazing what is there, guys, right there in plain sight. And you see all these companies like, I think PropStream, there was a prop wire, $119 for 10,000 records a month. It's like, why? You can just go get it yourself. You get it down to 10, 12 properties and you focus on that. You probably have a 2 to 3 week head start, because that's about the time that it takes for the aggregator to generate it and give it to those companies that are buying that. And those companies then have to break it down to the filters and then send it out to their paying customers. Well, guess what? Now you are there at the same time as the aggregator. You could actually even sometimes beat them. If you use a market guide and you ask to generate also to go back and make a second pass. So your first pass is build that market guide, just like if you go take Cuyahoga or the one I just generated for Atlanta for you guys, go take that on your first pass, generate that. Second pass, go back and then try to confirm if they do a public release, if they do a schedule. So like I said, most of the jurisdictions that I monitor in my state, they have a schedule. So every Thursday, Arapahoe County, Jefferson County, El Paso County, there's like five counties. If you guys look at the map, it's like Metro. If you guys ever look at the Corona map, that's like five counties on Thursday release all at the same time. That's how many foreclosures and stuff I could get at Thursday morning, pump into RCIC into my systems and start, working on those deals and having it. I can then deploy agents I can hand off to different agents. And once you guys see what you could do, if you're using both the GPT and you're using the RCIC, the highway, which is built with Claude and all that. If you guys are using those two, you got, I mean, literally, you guys will be like blowing people away. The people will be like, "Where are all the deals?" Because our group is getting all the good ones. That is what this thing is designed for. So yeah, definitely got tax office.
And it will happen in a flash. You got to understand, you guys, when you got those keys and you signed in there, you turned the machine on. It's running right now. So as soon as you sit down and start putting this stuff in there, it goes to work. It's amazing. So just think about that for a second. Within the end of a week, you could probably have this thing fully operational, and give it 30 days. It'd be an absolute nightmare for everybody else. You guys be humming right along.
So here it is, the simplest one. It goes through 2 more paragraphs, and I'm going to show you guys something real quick in where the buy box is again, and then I'm going to show you the highway, and I have to go on the internet, and then I'll show you that. And then, like I said, tomorrow night, guys, you guys are going to see a lot. It's going to be a whole different presentation, because I will be acting like I'll be, you know, I'm not going to really go in and pre-set up everything. Sometimes I do that just so I kind of can show you guys, you know, where stuff is at. That's how I believe in teaching it, is like show you guys where it is, because once you guys get there, it's easier to find than you think. And you go in there, you trigger it, and basically you never look back. And some people in our group, like Eric, who's Lulu in his Facebook, Eric's basically so far ahead on Skip. He's ahead of me. I would love for, if nothing more than I got 100, 200 people that are ahead of me, that you guys are all out there just dominating. And it's like, you know, because then you can give me the feedback on things that we need to, I can fix, I can tweak, I can troubleshoot for that next batch of people that come over. I want you guys to learn, to know this better than me, because you're going to know your local markets. You're going to know your AHJs. You're going to know what's going on more so than I will. So use the AHJs to skip trace the situation before you skip trace the person. The county will often tell you who controls the file, what stage it's in, what court or precinct owns the process, what account or cause number matters, and where the next breadcrumb is. That gives you cleaner data, smarter outreach, and fewer dead-end leads. So one caution, stay inside of lawful public records and use your compliance standards. Public intelligence is powerful, but creepy is not a business model. So you guys want to kind of think about that, you know, try to stay in all your lanes and all that. And we can scrape. There's going to be a difference, guys. If I put scrape in here right now, OpenAI does not like the word scrape. You go to Anthropic, which is Claude, it basically will let you scrape to China. I mean, it's like it doesn't, you know, go right through the Earth's crust. That's how deep it'll let you, how deep it'll let you scrape there. If you use them both of them, you basically will have every tool. You have tools you can create. You haven't even thought of the tools you can create. Wait till you guys can start creating your own tools. Take the base of what is, you know, I've built, and build your own, and build on top of it. And you guys can do that. Like Kevin was saying, you guys can use, you know, as if you got that link, if you need another one, you got business partners and things. I mean, don't go out there and give it away, because that doesn't help anybody. But if you got 2 or 3 people that you're doing business with that are in your organization, you got a business partner, you got a spouse or something like that, feel free.
We can set up specific licenses for different, you know, for you guys, basically, because if you're putting an organization together or something, we could document that too on the side. But the whole point is, individually, you're going to be powerful as all get out. But if anybody wants to get together and syndicate a deal within this group, and I think, what number are we up to? Are we got to 60 yet, Nate?
I forget exactly what number we generated. 88 access keys.
It's all there to be had. And if we're going to be doing that, it's like we're syndicated, but we're not. And in the same time, if anybody really wanted to do that, it'd be interesting to see how it turned out and who all would be doing it.
I'm typing on the chat. So you guys, when you guys get if you guys haven't done it yet, I sent you that access key. That key that's like 16 digits. It starts with RCIC. That is the website to go to redeem. After you guys go to redeem, you set up your email, put your email in there and set up your password. After you've done that, because you guys will see there's different processes, right? If you guys go after that, then just change it to dashboard and HTML. And that's your dashboard. I'll show you guys the dashboard in a minute. The site,
When you walk in through that little door there called the dashboard, you're in a whole nother world on the other side of it. I'm just warning you because I was floored when I saw it. So, and at the same time, bring a rope with you so that you can get yourself back and forth because you can get lost in that thing if you're not careful. There's just so much stuff in there; it's ridiculous.
okay, hey Kevin Flowers, yeah, give me a call. We'll set up a one-on-one. So cool. Those are the sites. I'll show you guys really quick what dashboard looks like after I show you guys one thing and real quick, and then like I said, tomorrow night's going to be a lot different. You guys, because I'm kind of what a couple of you guys have asked for, and I want to show that, but I want to show that on my own laptop because I want to be able to hit. I want to be able to hit it. You know, maybe there's something that has to be tweaked that I hit that I want to show you guys how to overcome that and how to get around it. And I've got to see a lot of times for myself because I may have done it 6 months ago when I was building this, and now it's so you guys always kind of got to bring me back to earth a little bit. And sometimes I'm like out there thinking, like I'm already thinking about something else that I want to do. And I'll tell you guys get everything. You never have to worry about, hey, did we get that? You just sometimes on these things that I'm doing right now, you kind of got to just, you know, be excited, but it's kind of like being waiting for a kid waiting for Christmas.
It makes for some really interesting entertainment, folks.
Yeah, so you got RCIC
you're going to think
guys.
you're in the middle of a soap opera or on some kind of TV show. It's going to just be absolutely crazy when you get to some things. You just expect it.
So everybody has RCIC core. I know that. So you know, obviously change RCIC mode. These are pretty much the two you're pretty much going to use. You're really not going to use setup or update your buy box unless you have to update it, but you can go there and update with markets. Keep in mind, I'm going to show you something real quick. Build my distress deal playbook. Everybody should just go through there one time and see everything. It's pretty cool what I built there. It's actually pretty easy to follow. Keep in mind at any of this, when you guys are always just put return to default. When you go to change RCIC mode, you can go to the modes. Return to defaults is a way to get back to this main screen. But you guys go to learning mode. You can go to TC mode, wholesaling mode, and all that. But like I said, what we did last week, what we'll do tomorrow night, because I think tomorrow night I'm actually going to set up a buy box. And I'm going to start at the buy box process. But here, you guys get this buy box. It's going to tell you what information it wants, right? You know, it's going to, and I'm showing you guys this. So you guys go down, then there's a structured example, right? This one's already pretty much kind of filled out. Phoenix Metro Market, Phoenix, Mesa, Glendale, Maricopa County, zip codes. You get your asset type, primary strategy, your target price range, your equity discount, retirement, requirements, all the information it's asking for, your capital position, your timeline. What you guys want to do is basically take the one that you need to fill out, just hit the copy, and come down here, and if after the structured, it's going to be like, it's going to give you, here's all your risk flags and your time box. But what you want to go through is then paste that, and don't hit the enter. Just make sure, be careful. It's kind of slow. It's meant to be like the time box says 10 to 15 minutes. It could take 30 minutes to do this way, but you fill it out. You've got the sample right there. Fill this out before you push enter here or send prompt. Copy and paste it, and all you have to do with your mouse, send prompt. That's when you go and you put it into that project that says buy box, and that's going to be your first, and you can change it. You can set up 2 or 3 if you got 2 or 3 buy boxes. So by all means, set up the buy boxes you want. So I'm just showing you this right now. It's just, you just want to go back and copy and paste everything you like in the sample here. So you've got it all. Hit copy and paste, copy, and then hit the enter, and then go back, and that's when you want to go back and hit in your buy box here, projects. So I'll go to my buy box here, and that's what I would just go, and I just paste it in the buy box. And then, like I said, you got buy box markets. So that's pretty much how you want to set that up. And like I said, tomorrow night, I'm going to do that. I'm going to actually go through and build a buy box. I'm going to go through, put my markets in. I'm going to deploy everything. We're going to do those first 5 steps tomorrow night. So it's going to be cool. You guys are going to see that live firsthand. All right, let me show you this, and then I'll come back to that. Give me 1 second. Sometimes I have to go and find my way around. They move stuff around a lot. So give me 1 second. One second, there we go. I'm going to show you guys a couple of these. So you guys want to go to, this is going to be rcicsystems.com, redeem. And let me go through, I have to do this real quick. So you guys can see that. Let me try to get that out of the way real quick. Okay, that's where you guys want to go and put in like your email address. Here's where you put that your access key, and you put in your password and then activate access. So everybody can see that. That's just the process there. So that key we give you, and it isn't tied to you right now at this time. Or if you guys have, it's all in your messenger, so you should have it. If you do need another one, don't hesitate to ask me to generate another one.
I've got that too. If you guys need to, if you can't get a hold of Nate, and then Jesse's in the same boat, so he'll give you the contact information for me and Jesse. If you can't get a hold of Nate, we'll get you fixed up. Not to mention, I think there's a few of these recordings that we're probably going to end up sending out to everybody too. So
then you guys got your operator login and your password, and you go hit enter the highway. And there's a few changes, guys. Obviously, and I know right now it seems dark. Wait for a second. I'll show you guys how to fix that. These are the 7 steps. Obviously, you got AHJ intelligence, deal analyst, buyers and sellers. You can build your buyers list and your sellers list. You know what the advantage of having them together? You can link them so you can start matchmaking. Capital passport, rehab scope of work. You got the transaction coordination, skip tracing, wholesale calculator, multifamily analyzer. And we got the strategic investment engine, or stack intelligence is what I'm calling it. And basically it is like we're doing all the Morby kind of stuff where you're having to make stacks. So let me show you a couple of features real quick. One thing that has changed, I'm just going to make sure you guys know this. Let's see if I got it in Capital Passport. If you guys go up, and I know it's hard with the prompt bar, with my Zoom bar, up here right there in the top corner, toggle white. You can now toggle light to dark. So it just depends on how you like it. And you can do that. I'm putting the other 9 analyzers on there. So you guys can, if you like financials and like white and you want the black type, you can do that. And then if you like maybe you like the presentation better when it's dark, you can change it. So you'll actually be able to change that per tool. Like I said, some of the tools aren't done yet.
Comes in handy when you're on a plane ride in the middle of the night going from one end of the country to the other, because you ain't got nothing else better to do. You play with this for a little bit, and then you come out a multi-billionaire at the end of the plane ride. It's the way this works.
Here's your triage. You get your buy box, you get your market reality assessment, ARV, comp, decision memo. Guys, you'll see also for API key. Let's see if mine is working. Okay, I gotta put my key in there. Is a key at console.anthropic. I did send everybody, there is a guide. Guys, you do have to, if you want to use all the analyzers, we'll skip trace, all that stuff. All the analyzers that we use can work offline, but the stuff that requires AI, like AHJ intelligence, you're obviously going through to find foreclosures. It's working. You do have to have a cloud account. So that was another $20 a month. But what the API is that you have to sometimes throw a little like $5 or $10 or $20 on there for tokens. That is one of the only differences between this and the GPT, where you're all in at $20 a month. But it is extremely powerful. So I just like, that's up to you. You guys get into buyers and sellers. You guys see cash buyer, hard money, conventional. And it gives you a whole list. You guys can also, like I said, by the end of this week, all of these will have the light and dark options. Transaction coordination. You guys got rehab and scope of work. Not only can you do the property intake, there's an estimator, line item estimator. You can do scope of work. You can, go in and do your draw schedule and all your underwriting for rehab and scope of work. You guys got skip tracing, wholesale calculator, multifamily. I got 9 more. We got stores, assisted living, we got STR, short-term rentals, Mobile home parks, a separate one for RV parks. We've got 9 more that I've got them done. I just got to do a couple things on them, and then they'll all be live here, and they'll be on the highway. And you guys can, like I said, you'll be able to switch back and forth between light and dark. So that is pretty much after you go to redeem, you go to dashboard. So you guys can set this up and then use it as you want. If you really want to do the highway, I mean the AHJ intelligence and a couple of other things, you guys can. It's up to you if you want to get the API. It shows you how to get it and what you got to do to get API. So that is the highway.
So what do we use this or the GPT? Like which one's better?
I'm recommending, you can use this for a lot of stuff offline. If you use this and you want to do AHJ and all that stuff like you're doing in GPT, this will scrape. It's a lot. It's just really up to you. I think a lot of people are going to end up using both, to be honest, because the GPT you can build on your way. This is kind of fixed, really. I mean, it's like static. There's a lot of things, with GPT you can build it your way.
So there's one aspect of it, and at the same time, I think it's going to be some people on here that actually hybrid other things into it that's going to make it a totally different and unique experience. And I think that's what you're kind of headed towards, if you ask me. And your questions about this for the last 3 or 4 weeks has kind of indicated that's where you're going to end up with it. And it's all a matter of taste, preference, schedule, that kind of stuff. And you just set it up around you and keep it simple. And Nate will help you everywhere. If you need some apps built or anything like that, he'll take care of it, because the whole point is the better off everybody does, the better off the whole thing is as a whole, and it just keeps getting stronger and stronger. So keep that in mind when you're building these things.
Yeah, and I'm seeing a lot of people also have asked me and you guys want more people in this because, like I said, there is a thing called compounding intelligence. So what happens in compounding intelligence, guys, is that you as a collective, as a group, nobody can see. I can't even see what you are doing on the GPT side. The same goes on the other side, on the Claude side. But what happens is everybody working together, all that information compounds. Only people that are in our GPT or in our API can access. All the information compounds, all the intelligence builds.
That's what it does. It takes all that extra information from everybody, compounds it into your task. And then you just can't make when you get that, when it goes like that. That's when it gets up over the end. But the whole point is you have to be kind of mindset about what you're telling it to do or asking it to do, because it'll do exactly that. And if you're talking about grand ideas, don't tempt it. It'll probably, it can happen is the whole point. This thing is going to be so strong with everybody's input that when you give it a task, you're not going to believe what comes out. And it's going to be so incredible. Hey, one more thing you don't have to worry about.
Yeah, so it's your preference. If a lot of people want to do both, keep in mind it is another $20 a month. So you're talking $40 a month.
Yeah.
With API, you might want to throw $20 in there. And it's just basically you're getting tokens. It explains that. I put that guide. If you guys need one, we can send you another one, but it is in the RCIC Facebook group. And it's like, because I told you guys, when you guys come on board, it's $3.99, which all of you did at our level. You don't have to pay us anything that I'm building now. You guys get. It's these other people. If you guys go look at RCICsystems.com, they're all getting, if they get their monthly, or they get their light, what they call light or pro, they're only getting that RCIC systems you guys just saw, that highway. They're not getting all the GPT stuff. You guys have all the GPTs. You got, that's always our bread and butter, because you guys can build with this the way you want. But if you want to have, that highway, like I said, all those analyzers, you guys can use the analyzers without even having to worry about another penny a month. That's the analyzers and calculators all work offline, and they're good. So, but that way, if you ever want to get online with with them, you can go to Anthropic, Claude, and they have their subscription plan and API. They do charge for API, but you'd only use it for AHJ intelligence and like 2 other areas on there. The rest of it is all offline. Now, if you guys want individual apps, the apps I was talking about earlier, like Northern California, like the one that I built for Texas, those all, I give it to you guys, and you guys can host them at Netlify. and you can basically I'll show you how to set it up so you can use Netlify free count. If you're only putting a couple of things on there, you can get by with the free account there. So it's pretty cool. So I try to send you guys with the resources. I mean, I have a tech stack, guys. I have 6 things. I'm using GitHub, using Netlify, using Supabase, which is all the databases, using Claude, using GPT, using Namecheap, using Gmail. So I have to go back and forth when I'm working in the morning, and you guys know, or I have to go back and forth with all that to manage it. It's pretty intense. Sometimes there's all my tiles and stuff. So it actually built that for YouTube. So like I said, tomorrow night I'm going to be using this other. I'm going to be using this one. Let me stop sharing so you guys can see the camera. Yeah, I'll be using this laptop tomorrow night with my personal GPT, so I can actually do the process I've been showing you guys actually on a live, and I may actually get stuck. I may actually, because it's not 100% set up like this is. You guys keep in mind I have 1,500 plus hours into this. I don't have that much time into this laptop, so it should be interesting tomorrow night. Anybody got any questions? Fred, you got anything, Elizabeth, Ginger?
There is a difference, though, Nate, because these guys just turned theirs on or are in the process of doing it. Yours has been on for over a month now.
Yeah, I mean,
you've been using that to build all this stuff, and everybody's been watching this.
Well, I've been
so
using
you've been getting faster and faster and more accurate every single week that you've been doing this. You just haven't really noticed that much, but
except that I haven't been doing it on this other GPT because I set
no,
up a GPT personally.
what you've already got going on the basic one is pretty damn quick, and if you add this to it, it just makes it even that much better.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna show you guys like it's me, like, you know, I've had it for a month. Some people have had it for a month. Like I said, it's not as far as along as you think it is on the personal one because I haven't been doing hardly any. As a matter of fact, I haven't even turned that computer on in like a month. And I bought it in October as a refurb. It's a pretty good deal, guys. This computer that I'm using right now tonight that I built all this on, I got it 7 years ago as a refurb. I bought this one from the same place in Denver called Action Computers as a refurb. And I like them because, you know, I can get like shit. And I spent like $319 out the door, and I got like 3 years of ESET, which is like an antivirus security and all that. And I got all that for like 2 years. $319 out the door, and I probably would have spent like $2,000 if I had it brand new. So that's a pretty good deal. But no, yeah, Kevin. I mean, I'll show you guys tomorrow night. I'll show you too that I'm not that far along on the personal one. So there will be. I might hit a couple bumps. I mean, I know how to get around them, but I'm trying to show you guys how to get around them. Just keep in mind, everybody, when you're, like I said, when you're seeing, you're seeing keep in mind, like I said, you guys, I have this orange outline as my developer mode and all this, and you guys can see I have a few more things in here.
It's really interesting how it's all laid out, and the fact that you can just basically copy text and paste the text and stick it into other fields, just basically moving that around will get you these kind of results. It's kind of amazing that things have gotten down to that point.
So you guys see on the YouTube video, it actually suggests 10 titles. It'll give me one for clarity and one for broader. It suggests one for reach. It generates a description for me, hashtags. I made a thumbnail. I'm going to use the one I've used the last two because it matches tonight's session. Guys, so tomorrow night, you guys are going to see, like I said, I'm going to go in and we're going to build a buy box live. We're going to put in my markets live. We're going to do everything live, exactly how you guys should do it. And then after that, I think everybody should be ready for next week. And next week, we'll start going through more of most of the advanced stuff, getting the capital passport. We'll also be doing the highway, which is RCIC systems. So keep in mind, activate that. See if you like, if you like the analyzers. Remember, you could, by this weekend, you're able to change all those between light and dark. And then if you guys want to use AHJ intelligence over there and you want to scrape deeper, then like I said, let me know and I'll get you that guide and you can set up API. I recommend it, but you don't have to. You know, that whole systems thing works. The highway works phenomenal with all the analyzers and stuff. Because you guys have a lot. There's a lot of pre-built stuff over there, like buyers and sellers. Guys, think about buyers and sellers over there. You guys can start building up your lists. You start putting all your people in there that you meet, and you can start managing it like a CRM. There's a lot of good stuff, a lot of good tools over there that you don't need an API for. So it just gives you options. This is still our core, is still our bread and butter. And starting in June, we'll probably start going to the other 6 GPTs as well. I just don't want to do them all at one time because I don't want people to get overwhelmed. Anybody got any questions before we go? Or like I said,
Hey, Nate. I just had a question real fast. How y'all doing? Good to see everybody. Yeah, I had signed up for the Chat GPT with a different email address. Do I need to change that, or is it okay to use 2 different ones? Or I just wanted to.
Hey, Nate, can you tell her about that Gmail thing? Because this is where this would come in handy for her.
Yeah.
If she had a Gmail account that she could tie into this, basically, it's one of the things. This is an opportunity for her to be able to do that direct.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not required. Yeah, whether email, I'll send you the GPT. I mean, I send you the activation link.
Okay.
And then it just depends on which email you want to use.
Well, I had used Proton for the one that I just set up, but I can do a Gmail. I have a Gmail as well. So I can use the same one. I was just making
sure. What Kevin's talking about, and this is for everybody, is that we have a process, and you guys can see it. You can set up a Gmail account separately, since it's free, and Google it's always going to be there.
Yeah.
Have the log on all that. So if you go into apps, like here on the GPT, if you guys go into apps, so set up your account, and you go down and so it can be productivity.
Basically, use that as your account address.
So go to productivity. And you guys
I already have like the Gmail for the Chat GPT. I just didn't do that for the other, the one that with the key, right? So if you want to send me another key, I'll give you a different address.
The key works on any email as well. The key is basically because it's basically whatever email you want to use for that.
Oh, well, I already set it up, so it's probably not going to let me do it again, right?
No, because I saw you set yours up.
Yeah. So I was just going to see if I needed to redo that, or if you want, however you want to do that. If it's better to use the same one I use for Chat GPT as well.
Yeah, because what we're talking about with this one is it kind of becomes like Gmail becomes like a free CRM.
Yeah, gotcha.
So it's different, probably what you were thinking. The one for our systems is, it doesn't matter if you use.
Doesn't matter. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I already have it for Gmail for Chat GPT, so that works then. So
yeah.
Okay.
Hey Nate, just to maybe y'all already know this, but for those of you that don't, if you're using Claude and you need to change your email for whatever reason, it won't let you change your email in Claude. So you basically have to start over again, which is something that I just recently learned because I no longer have the email that I originally set up my Claude account with. So now I have to redo it. So just a little tip for everyone.
That's why I hesitated.
Good to know.
That's why I hesitate.
Hold you hostage when you do these things sometimes, and that's a good example of it right there.
Yeah, and guys, I totally I was hesitating to start the Claude where I wanted, because here you guys everybody's here. This is our bread and butter role is going to GPT. I love because I've got 1,500 hours into this. What a lot of people are giving me feedback that aren't in the group that we're hesitating about. They're on the fence of joining, becoming part of the group. There's people that like visuals, that like what it's just weird how that is. They like having visuals, and it's GPT wasn't allowing me to do visuals like you guys see with the dashboards over on the RCIC systems that I just showed you.
Not really a graphics type program, but if you could get a way where you can blend the two in certain ways, which I think is what Nate's doing here, you'll be in pretty good shape because nobody else is able to do that yet. That's it.
I can tell you guys there's
technology that we're talking about here. Nobody else has developed it.
Sometimes I build a lot of
stuff.
Like I built stuff into this. Let me show you guys one thing today. I did a YouTube niche channel, and I was coming over here to ask it. I'm helping me revamp the YouTube. And so after it came up with this whole thing, I copy and pasted whatever to Claude, and within 2 minutes, so GPT cannot really look into things. Like it can't look at your YouTube channel. It can, if you put in a URL, it can't look at a website. Claude can. Claude was able to go into my YouTube channel and it filled out. So Kevin and I, and I don't know if Jesse was involved, but Kevin and I were running back a couple of years ago with you guys. We were kind of doing some crypto stuff. We were kind of on a break from real estate for a little while, and we are dealing with Osmium and Strategic Metals a little bit. And
by
so
the
we were
way,
talking
it's
about
still there.
we were talking about crypto. Okay, let me finish this. So,
Yep.
crypto, and there's a company called Binance, and you guys remember a couple of the crypto people got busted by the SEC, and the guy with FTX and all that stuff. So we were doing some. You guys can see the videos, very early videos on YouTube. If you go to our, the YouTube channel from 2022, we're talking about. I had like hashtags in there for American Greed, Ponzi scheme. Well, Claude's like, those are still there, and I totally forgot they were still in the. They're not in the descriptions of the videos, but they were in the. I don't forget what exactly in the settings that I'd set up for the YouTube channel to begin with, and I forgot they were there, and I was like, wow. So guess what? After I removed those just today, I've already had like another 100 views, just random views today alone after I removed those.
Yeah, and you got all that stuff with Ingo in there too, I think.
So I'm using Claude and GPT to kind of cross-check each other. Not saying that, and I try to tell you guys, nobody ever has to pay us a penny. Again, it's already in the group. But just these other things, $20 for GPT, $20 for Claude. If you really want to use Claude, it's AHJ to do foreclosures. Because think about now, you can do best of two worlds. You can build all this with GPT, and you build it your way, and you're out there all these using the market guides, the buy boxes, everything like we're talking about. Then go to AHJ intelligence and in the RCI systems with Claude and scrape. Now you're going to go and you're going to have a better chance of getting the EDI, the early. You're going to get the pre-foreclosures, the mortgage rates. You're going to be able to scrape and get more data. So build everything, but then take it over to Claude in PDF forms and all that, and copy and paste it and have it built.
That's evil.
It's just
that is evil. Yeah, I mean, you get to looking at it though. What comes back the other direction is so much different than what you put in.
The five largest AI companies outside of Grok and. Obviously, I know Meta and Google are doing their own, right? And Apple, I don't think Apple's doing it like everybody else is, but you got OpenAI, which will have $1 trillion valuation. I think Anthropic's going to be right behind them. They're talking about 900 billion.
Yeah.
So why not just ask for $1 trillion? Elon obviously is going to be wherever he's at. It's his. And then you got Meta and all that. But you got two of the top companies. It's your choice. Like I said, everything in RCI systems. Getting that redeem link, getting on the dashboard, all those tools, you can use all those tools. Some of those tools that you need an API for, you can still use without API. They're just not as great. I'm just going to give you that warning. But you can still, buyers and sellers is awesome. You don't need API for that, because that's basically building a database, and that you can cross-reference it, so you can put your buyers and potential sellers who you're buying from, and then who you're selling to. You can build that. Then you can patch them. So then they can start matching. Capital Passport's the same way, though you need the API to go and you'll actually be able to talk to lenders that we put in there. We're putting something together for lenders too, because we got some people in the group.
Yeah, we got to get that updated too. That's the other thing. I keep forgetting about that.
There's a lot more stuff. And then I'm building RCI Signal, which will be great. You guys can use that. You'll need an API for that. And that is basically allowing you to do all your text messages and all your emails and all your cold calls and be compliant. There's all the, all the rules.
All the regulations that are out there regarding all that. They're pretty thick.
And doc on demand.
Yeah.
250 documents. You guys have seen you've seen my database. Let me kind of refresh everybody's memory that Kevin can tell you, or Kevin and Jesse can tell you guys, look at all this is a lot of stuff that I have for. I mean, some of this stuff it's all a lot of it's guys. How much stuff we've done since 2017.
Yeah, my stuff goes back to about 2009, and that's just it. I'm having started to work on getting that because it's going to end up in here too, and a community development project's going to be in here, so it'll be a model for that.
It's all of our company stuff. We did the OPM show, which is You guys will see the very beginnings and ending of the OPM show. That was
geez.
when we first started on YouTube. I was just talking about Nate Marshall Capo.
Other Marsh, yeah. Other people.
I've already inputted 12,000 pages worth of material, not all at once, but you guys can tell, like escalation addendum. We got all this FHA home inspection that might come. This is all in RCIC. I've got our 12,000 pages.
506A, B, C, and D regulations and forms, and different compliance information for going out here and doing fundraising and stuff like that. There's just all kinds of stuff in here that's just
scripts. Wholesaler contract.
You have to have that.
Wholesaler B2C. So like I said, it's all in there for you guys. I mean, I've been pumping this stuff in.
So when you ask this thing a question, you got to understand all this is available for it to find something that makes sense and then put it together for you at the end of the line. It's just, it's a little sobering when you get to looking at it, especially with what everybody else has and what everybody else puts in here. You give it another month, 2 months, and see what it looks like. I mean, it's just going to be unreal for everybody. I mean, it's not just people getting in now, but whoever gets in then is going to end up having a handful. But yeah, this is one of those things that, like Nate was talking about, that's going to stand out there with everything else out there, because it is a technological breakthrough. It's some software that's worth a bunch of money. That's all there is to it. We're not basically from California, but you know, we're kind of bumping into those people with some of the stuff we got going on here.
We have 7 GPTs. This is the doc. These are all the PDFs that I've had to actually take a lot of that stuff. You guys just saw me in my documents keep. This is where I had to consolidate it all. And so I've got 140 slots, 20 per GPT, full of all that stuff. That's all the stuff that's powering it. And I still got probably, I don't think I can put it all in there. So this is how Core is set up. You guys see that's the GPT, and that's the full conversation starters you guys see. So if you guys really want to, when you guys get familiar enough, you want to start your own GPT, let me know, because I can help. We can build it in under 30 minutes on a one-on-one. And then you guys have your own, you can run your whole business. You can put a whole business around it.
What's the website running off of? Is that Cloth?
This is running off of, the RCIC
website
off of Claude.
Okay.
And then that is API. We got the Kevin, if you want the API guide, hit Kevin or Apple, we can send you that PDF. But it's
it's going to take you just like this. It's
going to put $20 in there. I put $20 and there's an option where you can hey, auto renew. I didn't choose auto renew because I didn't want to that way you only have to use the API when you want it, when you want to do searches and stuff. And it talks about the tokens. It's hard to explain it. You guys I pretty much just tell you where to go and find the information on it.
They're doing a blockchain kind of thing with it. It's what's going on. That's what's happening with those tokens. That's basically it. And you just have to figure out what kind of system they're using and just get going with that. We're going to have our own version with this Osmium. That's the other part about this that, we haven't been able to actually sit down and look at. But a lot of these things that he was talking about are going to get incorporated into here. And so there's going to be a lot of action along the sidelines. It's going to be interesting to watch. And if you wanted to get in, it's there to be had. But there's a lot of wild and crazy stuff about to happen when we get this RCIC thing swinging for everybody. I mean, it's just going to be nuts.
There it goes. All right, I'm going to stop the recording.
So, yeah, and if you guys get the recording from Nate, because